Hello, we are knocking on the door of fall, but some of our favorites seem to be walking wounded. Who has enough gas in the tank to get a September U show? Sopro!
Throw the salt, get in the ring. Welcome to the Dohyo.
Hello and welcome to the Dohyo here on MrJWags channel. Today we are back with our bolder predictions for the September basho. But first, a sumo shoutout. Now this one's a little weird. We are shouting out the NHK, and I know many of us in the English language YouTube community not always huge fans of the NHK, but they have started coming out with a reasonably new show called DOSUKOI Sumo Salon. Please check it out on the NHK website or on the NHK app if any of you, like me, have a Roku TV. These are 50-minute episodes that go in depth on one tiny piece of sumo. Recent episodes have been Sekiwake, Katasukashi, and the most recent, Tsupari Thrusts. Much like the Dohyo, they do a lot of statistical analysis, and unlike the Dohyo, they have actual sumo experts coming in to give commentary. So do check out DOSUKOI Sumo Salon. They're a lot of fun. Sumo shoutout! Okay, so the last basho we predicted, and we got a bit of the chaos. This tournament, I think we are going to be having a much calmer, much more predictable basho than we had last time. I also think we are at the point in Makuuchi where most of the young hotness has worked its way up to the top, and the excitement in this basho is going to be very top-heavy. Most of it's going to come from the sanyaku and the joy. I don't see a lot of excitement in mid to low Maegashira this tournament. Now the reason I say this is because I have been getting a lot of injury reports coming across my Twitter feed. First of all, Hakuoho, the former Ochi, had an amazing debut at Maegashira 17 last tournament, ended up getting 11-4, was in the tournament Yusho race till the last day, got 2 special prizes, now he's hurt. The left shoulder with all of the tape on it. Apparently that was an injury, a subluxation of the shoulder, and he is going to have surgery. He is out for at least 2 more tournaments, probably 3 or 4, and will not be seeing the ring until earliest next spring. This is a big blow to sumo. We were all very, very excited about this young man and all of his talent, but he should be back up in Makuuchi in about a year and a half, so let's hope everything heals well, and Makuuchi is just the starting point for this talented young man. But it's not just Hakuoho. Maegashira 2 West, Asanoyama, former Ozeki. He apparently has had issues with his toe recently, in addition to the hurt bicep he had in the last tournament. There are reports of new Komasubi Nishikigi either pulling or tearing a calf, depending on who you ask. At the top of the Bonzaga, Ozeki Takakeisho still is having trouble with his neck, and Yokozuna Terunofuji is having trouble with his back. And as fans of 90s rapper Kaya know, once you go neck to back, things get very intense after that. Now with Hakuoho going Kyujo, and Asanoyama looking a little bit banged up. Those were the 2 Maegashira I was sort of excited about, causing a little excitement on the Bonzaga this tournament. I don't think that's going to be quite as exciting. I think this tournament we're going to have a lot of people in the middle of the win curve. I see more than half of the wrestlers getting 6 to 9 wins. My first bold prediction, we will not have 8 special prizes this tournament. In fact, we will have 2 or fewer. I just think that a lot of the top-end success in this tournament is going to come from wrestlers who it is sort of expected from. The Komasubi and the Sekiwake and the Ozeki. And of course, Ozeki not at all eligible for special prizes. My bolder prediction, none of the Maegashira get more than 10 wins. Yeah, I think the Maegashira ranks are going to top out at a 10-5. 10-5 is a great tournament, let there be no doubt about that. I just don't think anyone's going to have that full Maegashira breakout we saw perhaps last tournament with Hakuoho. I miss him already. The next bold prediction, Yokozuna Terunofuji is going to go Kyujo. I don't think this is that altogether bold, considering he has gone Kyujo in 5 of the last 6 tournaments. Now, as of this filming, Terunofuji has not made any moves to go Kyujo. I just see the history is building up. 5 of the last 6 have been Kyujo, and this does not bode well for future health for this Yokozuna. And for a bolder and sadder prediction, Terunofuji has fewer than 30 matches left in his career. And I think that might be optimistic. If we look at recent intai of Yokozuna, you will see that there is a pattern amongst a certain type of Yokozuna. Look at Hakuoho, Kisano Sato, even a little back further to Takano Hana too. You will see a whole bunch of kyujo, and then a successful return where they fight all 15 days, sometimes getting a Yusho or even a Jun Yusho. And that's great. And then they're in tie in like 2 or 3 more tournaments. It seems that Terunofuji is fitting that pattern. He did just come back in May. He had an amazing tournament. But I just think Terunofuji's at the point where now, like, he's very aware of how much it will take out of his body to give 15 full days. I'm not sure we're ever going to see a full 15 days out of Terunofuji, and I'm pretty sure he's going to wrestle his final match in the ring this year. The question is, will he retire before another Yokozuna is there to take his place? We have not had a Yokozuna-less Bonzaga since the early 90s. And that leads us to our recurring segment, 3 Up, 3 Down, where I look at the Bonzaga and I find 3 wrestlers I think are a bit overranked and probably are going to do poorly, and 3 wrestlers who I think are underranked and will do very well in this tournament. And this version of 3 Up, 3 Down is not going to take injury into consideration, so if I mentioned you already on the injury list, I'm pretty sure you're not going to have your best tournament, but I could be wrong. Apparently Hakuoho in the last tournament, fighting the whole time with a hurt calf, so what do I know? First one down, Maegashira 8 Kotoweko. Why do I think he's not going to get a Kachikoshi this tournament? Because he's never, ever gotten a Kachikoshi while ranked in the Maegashira single digits. All of them have come from Maegashira 10 or below. So I don't think a guy pushing 32 is about to have a renaissance. Of course, I was very wrong about Nishikigi earlier. Second wrestler down, Maegashira 4 Takanosho. Now, about a year ago, a little more than a year ago, Takanosho was doing well. He was regularly up on the Sanyaku. In fact, last year in May, he ended up getting an 11-4 Jun Yusho at Maegashira 4, where he is right now. But the very next tournament, he ended up getting hurt, tumbled down into mid-Maegashira, and has been getting 7 or 8s around there. In fact, he got a very large promotion here. He got a 5-rank promotion off of an 8 and 7, which feels a little bit much to me. He's at Maegashira 4, and with the Kyujo I am expecting, I think Maegashira 4 will push him up into the Joy, facing the toughest possible schedule. Now he could have a comeback in him, but I don't see this one coming. Sorry, Takanosho. And our third wrestler down, just mentioned him, Maegashira 1 Hakuoho. I love Hakuoho. He had a great tournament last tournament, but he just seems to me like a wrestler who's so inconsistent he's not going to be able to get double-digit wins regularly, especially at the top Maegashira rank. The last time he got a Kachikoshi all the way up here was in September of 2019. I somehow think that the past 3-4 years will have aged him a bit, and he's not going to be able to hang out up here. He will not be getting double-digit wins this tournament, and I think he will be fighting real hard just to get to 8. And now for the 3 Up, Maegashira 15, Atami Fuji. He is back! So he made his Makuuchi debut last year, did not do very well, went down to Judo, ended up getting hurt down there. It looks like he is back. How do I know? Well, if you look at the tournaments he had going into his Makuuchi debut, they weren't exceptional. They were winning records. They were like 8, 9s. They were not something that would scream, this kid is going to come up and blow the doors off the place. Now, remember, Atami Fuji is very young. He's only 21, just turned. So all of this drama he's had has been happening in his teens and age 20 year. I think he has a very bright future ahead of him, and I think we're all going to remember why we had Atami Fuji so highly ranked last year, this tournament. Second one up, Maegashira 11, Hokuseiho. The giant hit his first ceiling last tournament, ended up getting a Makekoshi, fell back down to about where he was the tournament before. I think he has hit his first ceiling, so from here on out, I think he really needs to figure out the next adjustment. What is the plan B and the plan C that is going to get him to victories after opponents have clearly figured out his I'm huge strategy? Whether or not those adjustments come this tournament, we will see, but I think he should clean up down here at Maegashira 11. And our last one up, I sometimes give this guy crap, but I think he's going to have a very good tournament. The Flying Monkey, Tobizaru. He looks healthy. He is gaining experience every tournament, and I do not think we are close to the time where it's like, Tobizaru's over the hill. He's been looking better and better every tournament for the past year, ending with a 9-6 last tournament. I think he's going to continue doing well and get at least 9 wins this tournament at Komusubi. Go Flying Monkey. And now it's time for the recurring segment, Which Way We Goin'. This is where we look at the Bonzaga and we look at wrestlers. I think this tournament is going to tell us a lot about where they are on the sumo curve, up or down. Our first Which Way Are We Going are two wrestlers, Maegashira's 5, Gonoyama, and Shonan no Umi. Now these wrestlers seem to be clumped together a lot in life. They were born a day apart, they made their Makauchi debut in the same tournament, and they both got special prizes with a 10 and 5 debut. So if life is going to clump them together, so am I. Now, they got their 10 and 5s down at Maegashira 13 and 14 respectively, and now they have both been bumped up to Maegashira 5, right there on the joy line. Let's see how they do here. They're both 25, they're both entering their peak years. Do they have enough experience and enough ganas to go in there and start clearing house right at the top of the Maegashira ranks? I'm not sure. Next up, Maegashira 10 Kinbozan. Now this may be a case of just a little too much hype too soon, but Kinbozan is 26 now, so I am fully expecting to see a leap out of him sometime soon. And I know, he's already up in Makuuchi. He hasn't been wrestling that long because he was a university wrestler, but 26. Time is going here. I'd really love to see his first leap in this tournament. Or is this just another case of another wrestler coming up with a whole lot of hype and not quite giving us what we wanted when we wanted it? Sort of like an Oho 2. Although I should point out that Oho is 3 years younger than Kinbozan. Maegashira 7, Takayasu, channel favorite. Oh, Takayasu. Takayasu has the widest error bars for me of any given basho usually, because there's a chance he could just go Kyujo and just go really, really poorly, but I still always have that joy in my heart that thinks that Takayasu can like whip out another 12 and 3 and maybe get into the Yusha race again. Now obviously the odds are against Takayasu pulling out yet another comeback, but of all the Maegashira ranks this tournament, he's the one I've got in my pocket as a dark horse. We'll see. Maegashira 11, Mitakeyumi. Okay, I'm not sure what is happening here. So 2 tournaments ago, got a 9 and 6. We're all like, he might be doing better. He's looking like he might be getting back for these injuries. Last tournament, reports of injuries. His father died right before the tournament. 3 and 12. Whew. Okay, so hopefully he's in a bit of a better headspace, he is healthier, and that he might be able to hold rank here, maybe bump his way back up a little bit, but if not, I know I usually ask people like, hey, what's the ceiling? But right now with Mitakeyumi, I just really want to find a floor. And a rare Which Way We Goin' from the Judo ranks. Judo 4, Oshoma. Now, Oshoma won the Judo Yusho back in November of last year with an 11 and 4, and he got promoted up to Judo 3, and everyone was thinking, oh my goodness, this is it. Oshoma is going to be the next person to break out of Judo, make some noise in Makauchi, and then at the beginning of the year was ranked Judo 3. And it's just sort of been there between like Judo 3 West and Judo 4 West, and in fact, for the past 5 tournaments has been ranked between Judo 3 West and Judo 4 West. The last 3 tournaments, Judo 4 East exactly. How does one do this? Well, it's a stretch of 7 and 8 wins, just sort of exactly treading water at a point in the Bonzaga. Now, this is very, very rare. If any of you know, why do you think Oshoma has suddenly just stalled out at this very specific place in the Bonzaga? I'm hoping that this tournament will give us a little bit of an indication which way he's going to go from here. My next bold prediction, Judo 1 Roga will finally make his Makauchi debut next tournament. He's right there at Judo 1. He just needs a Kachikoshi and he will be up in Makauchi next tournament. Now for those of you who don't know a lot about Roga, Roga shot into sumo like a cannonball. He ended up advancing through the first 3 divisions of sumo in 3 consecutive basho. One of those guys. And then once he hit Makushita, ended up staying there. He got stuck in Makushita for 3 years. And now, since he's been up in Judo, he's been in Judo for a year. But it looks like this is the time, and this is the moment where Roga will finally be breaking his way into the top division. However, I do not think he is going to win a Judo Yusho. And that brings me to my bolder prediction. Ukrainian Shishi at Judo 8 will get the Judo Yusho, but will not be promoted to Makauchi. Judo is very exciting right now. It seems almost exactly split between young hotness fighting their way up and some old and busted veterans holding on to that salary as long as they can. But check out Judo this tournament. 11 of the 28 wrestlers are fighting at career high ranks, including the top 3. Next bold prediction, we will not have a 3rd consecutive Ozeki promotion after this tournament. However, every single Sekiwake this tournament will get 9+ wins. Now, all three of our Sekiwake, through amazing symmetry, have 19 wins over their last two tournaments, which means if they're going to get up to the standard of 33/3, they would need to get a 14-1. I don't think anyone this tournament is going to get a 14-1, but I think all three of them are looking good going into this tournament, and I think they will all get a 9-6 or better. Now, a lot of you were very excited about Kota Nwaka, thinking this might be his Yusho breakout. I don't see it quite yet. I see the Kota Nwaka breakout happening first two tournaments of next year. I just don't see the point now where he's dominating the people in the Sanyaku he needs to dominate to really sort of look at Ozeki promotion. Now, Daieisho and Wakamoto Haru, have they missed their window? They are both going to be 30 before the November basho. Neither of them have really shown the ability to hang out in the Sanyaku and excel yet. Partially because Wakamoto Haru took forever to get up at the Sanyaku, and partially because Daieisho is a pusher thruster and they tend not to be as consistent. If we look at the last four basho of Daieisho's career, it is in fact his best four basho stretch, including the beginning of this year. He had 3 consecutive double-digit wins tournaments, something he had never done in Makuuchi before. Do I think he can keep it up? Not really. I think the inconsistency is going to start pushing its way back in, but I don't think it's going to start this tournament. 9 wins for every Sekiwake going forward. And the bolder prediction, and this one is a little bit bold. I think both Kataban Ozeki get 8+ wins to clear Kataban and return to Ozeki-ship in good standing. Now, Kirishima, he's been looking fine in practice, looking so fine in practice, it looks like Terunofuji's about to kill him on the Dohyo. But Takakeisho, he's the one I've been worried about. Now, I don't think Takakeisho is going to look good at this tournament, but I have also seen on numerous occasions Takakeisho get into the ring and claw his way to the ugliest 8-7 you have ever seen when he is in Kataban. I think he's got one more of these left after having just turned 27. Yeah, he's just a couple months younger than Kirishima, but it's just, like I said before, it's not the years, it's the miles. Now, September, November, and January, usually very kind to Takakeisho. Let's hope that this one he can pull out one more ugly 8-7 to hold rank. Alright, now we're getting down to those Yusho picks. My bold prediction is new Ozeki Hoshoryu will not have an Ozeki hangover. He will be in the Yusho race till the very end, and he will end up getting a Jun Yusho with 11 or 12 wins. I think his true talent level right now is about that 11-12 win mark, and I think he is not going to end up having this hangover. No, he's going to come in fully focused and ready to succeed. I just don't think that this time it's going to get him the championship. My bolder pick, Ozeki Kirishima wins his second Yusho. Now, I'm not going to say there's going to be no pressure on Kirishima this tournament. I will say there will be less pressure than when he came in as a Shin Ozeki last tournament. Now, everyone seems to be focusing on Hoshoryu. What's he going to do? I think Kirishima is going to use this time. He's going to heal from that injury, and he's going to come back very strong and very focused and get in there and win a 12-3 Yusho. I would love it if either Kirishima or Hoshoryu could bust out with a 13-2 this tournament to show they were starting to get Yokozuna ready. Don't think we're there yet, even though this tournament we are probably not going to have a Yokozuna, and one of our Ozeki is probably going to be severely hampered in his sumo. I think the next chapter of sumo is going to be the Hoshoryu-Kirishima rivalry, and I think we are going to get our first major chapter of that rivalry in this tournament. Thank you for joining us here on the Dohyo. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Remember, if you don't like and subscribe, all of the fairies in Neverland will die. But do stay tuned. We are going to have our quick strikes during the basho, which you're not going to want to miss. And of course, at the end, we are going to have our wrap-up and our near misses Yokozuna episode that I promised after the last one. Don't worry, that one's coming after this basho. So everyone, stay safe, stay strong, stay healthy, and I will see you next time on the Dohyo.